Yeah.
All right, hi everyone, shalom לכולם, תגידו לי שרואים ושומעים, tell us that you can see us, that you can hear us. We're gonna do a bit of Hebrew at the beginning, then jump right into English. חברים, תכתבו לנו שאתם רואים, שאתם שומעים, שנדע שאנחנו לא לבד ולא מדברים לעצמנו. אין לנו בעיה לדבר לעצמנו, אבל אנחנו רוצים לדעת את זה. Just telling them that they should tell us if they hear us and see us. We don't mind talking to ourselves, but we much rather prefer talking to everyone else. So okay. David, one of our students in the Automation for Managers workshop, just wrote that you can see and hear. And Tomer, great, Yofi, תודה לכולם. All right, Thomas, so I guess if Eden, Chen, all right, people are here. Okay. So I guess everyone can see us and can hear us, everyone that's here or watching the recording. So hi, שלום לכולם, אנחנו כאן בעוד סשן האוטומציה live. We're here with Thomas Wiesner from Integromט. Hi, Thomas.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, and thanks for taking the time to be with us, with all us automation geeks, and guys who really love connecting stuff together, and many of us have made it into our living. Thomas, you're the head of partnership at Integромט.
That's correct. Yes.
And we've been corresponding via email and Zoom sessions for a few months now. And you want to tell us a bit about yourself before we kind of dive into stuff?
Sure. I think I can just introduce a bit myself. I read 2 years ago, I read an article about Integромט, and I said, hey, that's wonderful. That's amazing tool. I want to be part of it. So I scheduled a meeting with the CEO and CTO and CFO. We went to a restaurant and say, hey, I want to sell your product. It's amazing. And let's do it in a bigger scale. And they say, no. So they denied me. They denied me. Yes, they just rejected me. I was like, what? You cannot reject me. I was like, okay. So I went home. I set up a company, and I became just an integration company, integrator of Integромט, or doing consultancy. And after several months, 6-8 months, I had a lot of customers doing some consultancy and doing some automations for them, of course, thanks to Integромט. And but we stayed in touch still with Integромט guys. And then they just called me and they said, hey, let's have a lunch again. And they said, okay, Thomas, wouldn't you mind to take over the partnership program, and let's do the same what you did with your company with all the guys around the globe, because there are a lot of great people like you, David, and others who are ready to help the end customers, the companies, to automate the business. I said, okay, let's do it, and let's make it big. And that's how I came to Integромט, and that's the story. So you have to prove that you are really good to work for Integромט, but once you prove it, then you get a lot of tasks here, and you can start the work, and it's amazing to see really a big product. I always tell all my friends that if you missed in 1998 to start with Google, and in 2006 to start with Facebook, you shouldn't miss the chance to start with Integромט in 2020.
First of all, it's a beautiful story, and what is very interesting that you came to them, and then you said they probably thought, oh, who's this crazy guy who wants to sell our product? And then you just told them you're crazy, but you started your own company. Then you actually showed them you're crazy for automation, and that got them hooked. And I can say that for what we're doing, what this community is doing, and what we're seeing with our clients is once they see that we are as crazy about automation, we're not just viewing it as an opportunity. I think automation is a great opportunity now because I think, like you said, if you learn how to be a like you studied SEO when Google was just starting, then you got to ride the tide for being one of the first people to do something that's very valuable to customers. And we're seeing that with automation as well. So this is a great opportunity to really shine out with a service that many businesses need. And I think automation now is booming, not in a like trendy way, because a lot of people hear that buzzword automation and it sounds like very, very nice, very sexy. They don't know what it means. I'm seeing it as both a very good opportunity to improve business and a very good opportunity to really stand out and start your own business in that arena. So you kind of show them you're all in on automation, and they said, okay, if he's a crazy guy, let's have a crazy guy on board instead of having a crazy guy somewhere out there. So that is beautiful. People are writing in the comments. I don't know if you're seeing the comments, but I'll moderate them as well. They're saying great to have you with us. As far as they're concerned, you're part of the Israeli automation community, and I assume there are people from abroad here as well. In this session, people have already sent us questions ahead of time. They sent my bot questions, and obviously we have them here. It's very important for me to say this is not going to be a technical session like how do I get this scenario working, and like I have a problem with connecting Google Docs and whatever. Guys, go to support, all right? Open a ticket, or write to the automation community that we have. There's really a lot of people helping each other and helping other businesses. We are going to be more focused on this in this session on business challenges, how Integromat is planning to write them. How do you see challenges in business? For example, when you said that you stumbled upon Integromat, it's not just a matter, I guess, of saying, okay, this looks nice. I mean, I can look at Instagram and say, okay, this looks nice, or TikTok and see my daughter going all woohoo on TikTok and say this looks nice, but nothing makes me really want to come and say, okay, I'll be a TikTok. I don't go to TikTok and tell them I'll promote you. What made you look or read about Integromat and say this is something I want to be part of? What did you see there?
Okay. So one is from my own experience, because when I started with Integromat, I felt like a real developer, because I didn't have to know any code, but I could create great scenarios and great automation. That's one thing. The other thing is that there is a necessity of all the automations out there, because all the big players like Google, Facebook, Apple, they have really clever people and they do automations everywhere. So once they will come, now they go for banking sector, they want to disrupt it. But once they are okay with them, they can go for your own business. And it doesn't matter if you sell kitchen equipment or policies, insurance policies, or you sell cars, but you should be afraid of these big players if you don't start automating your business. So that was a kind of necessity that I knew that there is a big market for this, and all the companies should just get rid of all these processes that are done manually, and when there is a great tool like Integromat and they can automate everything. So that was also the reason I was focused on this sector of industry.
So really seeing that companies that do not automate will have a very, very big challenge in staying competitive and staying in the business.
Right now, I would say we are in the phase 1, and it means you can get a competitive advantage if you do automation, because the other companies, they don't. So you can be the leader of the sector, you can be the leader of the industry, you can be the first company that starts it and get the competitive advantage. So you can earn more money, or you can have better margins thanks to this. So this is phase 1. But in the second phase, when all the companies will start doing automations and integration different systems, then it will become a necessity to do it. So it will be a standard of the market to do automation.
Okay. You know, it's very interesting. Right before going online, I kind of showed off. You asked me how many of these sessions you already had. And first of all, I said, hey, I don't remember. Let's check it out. But I have like our Airtable dashboard with all the lives we already had with the link and everything. And one of the lives there, one of the sessions that we had was with a partner in a company that does real estate projects in the I think it was the last live or two before. Real estate project, they do the construction and they sell and they rent and they generate the profit for the clients. And one of the interesting things that he told us before we started working together, he said, I want automation because I want to be lean enough so I don't have to take any project just to feel like a large system of employees and people that I have to take on many projects just to pay their salary, and then I'm taking on bad projects. I want to be able to cherry pick what I'm doing as a business, and automation helps me do that because I don't have to start hiring a lot of staff. They have their team, but their team focuses on what matters. And I think that connects to what you were saying, like companies that want to stay competitive need to be able to take the daily tasks and takes both the things that people are doing repetitively and also stuff that people aren't doing because it's exhausting. Like you can have like reports that aren't generated because it's gathering a lot of data. For them, it was every quarter they had to invest about almost a month's work, and it sounds crazy. In gathering data because it's money, it's people's money. You have to be very, very accurate, and they took that very seriously. But now it's automated, and it's at the push of a button. Takes, I don't remember how long, but the interesting thing is that when we went online, we actually, since they had a history of all their previous reports, we could actually run the automation on all data. And it was very accurate till we find like a gap, and then we found out automation was right in a few cents. The automation was more accurate by a few cents than the actual calculation in Excel. So it's a way of staying competitive. It's a way of really being focused on doing what you're good at and not all that's around you.
That's correct. That's the idea of it. So I absolutely agree with what you're saying, and I just can congratulate to the company that they started doing the automation because that's
definitely
amazing. Yeah,
definitely they're hooked. It's okay. So how do you guys how you're seeing the current challenges in business? Let's start with like small and medium businesses, then I'll ask you about enterprise as well, because enterprises, people think that enterprise has everything because they have the money and the resource. No, they don't. They have problems like any other business. So how are you seeing the challenges in like small and medium businesses in staying competitive in the business arena?
Again, it's quite a difficult question because it mostly depends on the industry you are at. So the small companies, but I can tell you like the most useful use cases all these like small and mid-sized companies use or need is that they definitely need a CRM system like Pipedrive or like other great systems on the market, and automate all the requests from the web, for example. So if there is a lead coming from the web, so it can just jump to the CRM, and someone can just go for it and handle it, communicate with the customer, automate some issuing of offers, and of course issuing of invoices, and definitely connected with bank accounts, so you know that all the invoices are paid. So these are like almost all the businesses are about the same. You sell something, so you need like the lead coming from the website or from somewhere if you don't have cold calling or something like this, and then process the lead to figure out what's happening, just contract the customer and do the work or send the product, and then invoice to the customer. So these are like almost all these companies use. There are some differences. For example, if you are agency or a lawyer or someone, then you sell your hours or mandates. So then it's great to have some tool calculating all the hours spending on some projects and then automatically invoicing to the end customer. So it's almost the same, like getting some business, process it, and invoice it. So these are like the challenges for all the small and mid-sized companies, I think, that they face, and that automations can help them.
We actually just finished up before going online. We finished a call with a client, with a company that we're working. They have a very successful portal that they help people get treatments for the back pain and everything, and we really streamlined their sales process. And it's interesting because whenever you streamline something with automation, like the way I'm experiencing it, and tell me if you're seeing it the same, what you're doing is just expanding the capacity, but you're also always moving the bottleneck from place to place, right? Because so let's say, for example, you had your bottleneck was that your marketing works really well and get many leads, and you don't get to talk to them. So you automate some sort of initial contact, and we take Calendly as a tool, for example, and set the appointment, so you don't have to go back and forth. When can we talk? And you automated that, and now you have the bottleneck moves to generating the quotes, for example, fast enough. So you have to automate that, and if you're successful, you always expanding the capacity on one end, but also moving the bottleneck to the next challenge and always solving it one challenge at a time. With this company, we're now talking about how the invoicing and everything that I have to do, because they're working with a lot of partners now, and what they used to do manually for 10 partners, now they have to do for 100, and it doesn't work. So we're doing that. So it's like always figuring out where my bottleneck is and really moving it along. Are you seeing it the same way, or similarly, or differently?
I see it absolutely the same way, because I have the same experience. We had a customer when I did the consultancy. We had a customer. They came to us and said, "Hey, we have a small project here, and we want to do it." It was just a kind of lead gen going to Pipedrive. And after 1 year, they're still a client of the company I set up. And they do a lot of automation for them, because that's absolutely what you said, that they just get a lot of leads coming, and then they have to process it. So there was automation to how to distribute these leads to the sales force. I mean, like not Salesforce as a tool, but to their field
sales team.
And when it was done, how to automate all the documents customers should receive and should send us. So it was still the same, and there was and there is still a lot of automation that must be done, because of what you said, that's the bottleneck, like moving from one side to other side.
And are you experiencing that for enterprise as well? As being the main challenge, or do the enterprise, just to make sure everyone is clear, enterprise, very, very large companies, a couple of thousand employees. Many times these companies have old, updated tools, no tools. You'll be surprised how many enterprise companies manage a lot of things in Excel, and that's surprising, but it's true. And are you seeing the challenges being different in enterprise for anyone who wants to work with and automate enterprise companies?
There's I think the biggest challenge, or there are two biggest challenges in enterprise, and one is security and compliance, because the system must be secure and compliant with legislation and other things. And the other thing is that they run really old systems. They have a legacy systems, and it's almost impossible to connect to these systems. So you have to do some workarounds. It's really difficult. So mostly what I can see from the automation point of view is that you can do a great business with enterprise customers if you just automate some kind of work that is done somewhere in marketing or somewhere in sales or some other department and this automation shouldn't be connected to their systems. It should just help to a group of people or just to one person and to do the work better, because I think it's almost impossible to do great automation as you can do for like a small and medium-sized businesses, because they are open, they use cloud systems, they use different like online tools like Monday, Pipedrive, Salesforce, and others. So it's easy to connect, but with the enterprise customers, the way how to start with them is definitely to just automate something, some job for a small group of people.
I'm actually using what you said. I had a conversation yesterday with one of the managers in our managers automation workshop, where I told them they also had this problem, like very, very old and fragmented tools, right? So nothing talks with each other. And she wanted to automate. She said, I cannot even grasp how I'm going to start working with all the different systems that are available. And we actually picked just one small thing around one of the departments in the company. But I also told her, and it connects to what you were saying, I'm seeing this small automation that you mentioned, like take one thing and just automate it. I'm seeing it as a marketing strategy, right? Because take someone from accounting, for example. Let's say that they're working with very old legacy systems, but at the end of the day, they're doing some Excel report and a lot of calculations. If that's significant enough, for example, if it doesn't take them an hour a month, but let's say like a day's work in a month, you can tell them, okay, let's automate this one thing and make that report automated. Once that gets working, people, that guy or that girl from accounting will go to someone else from finance and tell them, hey, this annoying thing that I always hate doing on the first Sunday of every month? What do you know? I can drink my coffee now because it's done. And then they start marketing the automation inside the company, because then that guy from finance will say, I also have one thing that I'm doing like every day, and it annoys the hell out of me. Can I automate that as well? And pretty soon it's like a good virus. You can't say that in the Corona time, but it's like a good virus because it spreads. It spread because you have a lot of people thinking, what am I doing every day that makes me... One of the things I do with companies, I call them like anger meetings. Like, get the team in the room. Everyone says what they're angry about, what they hate doing about their job, because usually that's the repetitive stuff that can be automated.
Yeah, that's a good way how to just find the spots where you can just do the automation and how to show that they need it. Yeah,
just ask the people what they hate. I want to see some questions that people have wrote. People are congratulating. We also have Simon from Switzerland. Hi, Simon. So nice to have you here. Our first live in English, hopefully not the last one. Ben, who asked, is Integrom security strong enough for enterprise? That's a good question.
That's absolutely great question. I like the security question because we are in the European Union based, and we have GDPR is like the strongest regulation for data prevention, loss prevention in the world, I think. So we have to be compliant, of course, with this regulation. The other thing is that Integrom in the cloud version also provides a confidential mode. So you don't need to log all the data that are processed. So we don't log it and it just go through your scenario. It's difficult to debug these scenarios, but it's absolutely confidential. And last but not least, we can provide also, right now we can provide a hosted version of Integrom. So you can get Integrom on a hosted instance of Amazon Web Server anywhere in the world, and you can have all your data separated from the cloud data. In the future, we also count on the on-premise solution of Integrom, so you can then install Integrom on your hardware, on your server in the enterprise, and you can just run it there.
Okay. So really looking at the enterprise as a market that has, because they have their special needs and their restrictions, you are tailor fitting solutions that are privately hosted or locally hosted for enterprise. Okay, so that seems to answer it for Ben. Nir is asking, what's your advantage over Zapier? It's a very I guess that it's a question that gets brought up even if people don't ask it. It's on their mind a lot, because Zapier and Integromat really are the two main players. I'm not talking about Microsoft, I'm talking about IFT. They are the two main players in the business automation arena. So kind of how you guys are seeing it.
I would just, I don't want to comment on Zapier because it's our competitor, of course. I would say what I see, or what also our partners see as an advantage of Integromat is, first of all, it's the user interface, which is totally different to all other tools on the market, because you go from left to right. I know that in Israel you write from the opposite side, but
we're so used to left to right, it's okay.
So from left to right, the scenario goes, and all the bubbles are quite easy to use, and it's also easy to understand the data flow for people who are not doing anything with Integromat. So if you want to show some CEO or some manager a process, you just click on the airplane on the scenario of Integromat, and it will just show how the data will flow. So this first thing is the user interface. We actually started first with user interface, and then we said, okay, what all the features we want to have it there, but first we really wanted to have it nice and beautiful. The other thing is that from the history of Integromat, in the past we did a lot of integrations for the banking and insurance companies, and because we needed kind of platform, we developed Integromat to connect different legacy systems. And there were for if you do this kind of work and you do the legacy system connection and integration, you need a lot of advanced features that we also added to this platform. So Integromat is one of the most advanced platforms on the for automation compared to any competitor. I don't want you can compare it to Zapier, you can compare it to IFTTT, you can compare it to any other platform, and if you just see all the features, it's totally different. And that's, I think, what is the real benefit of Integromat. You can use it easily, you can understand it easily, and you can use all the great features that we just provide there.
I'll add to that. I'll say near that I actually did a special live on Zapier in Integromat. I'll give my my philosophy in one line. We started with Zapier in 2014, developed the first Israeli app for Zapier and really starting to use. And we got into Integromat a year and a half ago. I can say that we're not a Zapier only company. We're not an Integromat only company. We tailor the solution that works best for the client. And if that involves combining blocks and doing stuff and doing something here and something here, we're really one of the things we pride ourselves is Israel. We tailor-made the solution that is best for our clients. So for us, it's not a matter of we're doing only this and we're doing only that. We will actually suggest to the client the best solution. But if you really want to go into details, I did a 30-minute session just on that. Just go to the lives to the lives dashboard. I think it's the second or third one, and you'll see that because it's a topic that always comes up, right? It's not that you're not the first person to ask about that. But I think our responsibility as automation experts is really providing the best end solution to the client. Many clients don't care what's running in the background as long as it solves their business problem. That's from my experience. So you can do that. And Nathaniel writes that he loves that you guys listen to customer suggestions. You have a voting system. I love that as well. I actually requested a feature and it got into development because it was voted by the community, which is great. And I think that kind of leads us to the question of what's ahead for Integromat. What's down the road? What can you guys share with us?
Yeah, okay. So there are like three big things coming very soon. Actually, next week we are gonna release Integromat Academy. It's gonna be the place where you can find a lot of tutorials, courses, documentations, use cases, and other things about Integromat, because we know that we didn't have great documentation of some features or for some like modules maybe, and that's why we want to change it, and we want to make it easier for anyone to start with Integromat and to understand it and to learn all the features of Integromat properly. So that's why we are releasing the Integromat Academy in next week.
Great.
So this is one big thing coming. There will be also like a lot of third-party activities like webinars, seminars. So next time maybe you can find also some kind of these sessions there. We want to just also like promote our partners' activities because it's all about automation and just learning a lot of stuff. This is one big thing. Another big thing is that we want to release Integromat 2.0. Actually, there won't be a big difference between Integromat, as you know, and the Integromat 2.0 from the user interface. It should be almost the same. There will be only like some differences actually in the infrastructure. So we will just install several instances of Integromat around the globe, because right now we have all the servers in Czech Republic in the middle of Europe.
Okay.
But we will have servers in Australia, in Asia, in Ireland, Frankfurt, US, Brazil, and other like places to so this kind of like differentiation. But there will be also some features that might be useful also for the end customers or for you who create the automations. There will be two great things. I'm really looking forward to this. And one is that you will have multiple triggers in a scenario.
Ooh.
So
there was actually a question. Someone sent a question about multiple triggers. That is so interesting.
Yeah, and actually, as I'm already right, there will be also convergers, so the opposite of router, because like that's really something. That's a really big thing. You don't have to copy all the branches of the scenario, and you can just converge it back and run the scenario further.
Amazing.
So there are these. Yeah.
May I also suggest in the searches when you have a Google sheet and you want to search for data and it returns total bundle 0 or not. If you can add like a checkbox that says create if it doesn't exist, then that would go a long way into not splitting and merging workflows. But I don't know how that works into the UI and the backbone of everything. This is just a feature that I know me and my colleagues would really appreciate. But having a converger would actually make it not that bad, because you can converge to found not found, and then like a split to found not found, and converge back. So okay, cool.
So these are like this is Integromat 2.0. So this is second big thing, and the third big thing is that we know that we don't have so many applications on our marketplace. We have 400 applications with 6,000 modules around these numbers, but we want to increase it. Okay. There are still like some big players missing, like eBay, for example. We don't have there, but we also miss the local apps, the local ERP systems, local CRM system, local accounting system, or invoice issuing system. also sometimes there are some register of commerce, for example, that you can access easily by API. So these local apps, I think, make it great, and we want to introduce a marketplace, Integrum marketplace, to this year. Hopefully, it's going to be in the third quarter of this year. So we want to let anyone to create these apps for Integrum for the marketplace and monetize it, of course, if you do something.
Amazing.
So
amazing.
This is like a three big things that are coming: Academy, Integrum 2.0, and Integrum marketplace.
First of all, it sounds like a lot. Sounds like you guys, you have your hands full with work. That's for sure. And I think it's I believe it connects to what Nathaniel wrote here, that you guys listen to customer feedback and really developing the things, because when it comes to automation, really, I wouldn't say the sky's the limit, because the imagination is the limit. Whatever you can imagine, you want to be able to build. And I guess for a company that creates a platform with so many users, you have to prioritize stuff, right? So you have to listen to what people are asking for, because you can find yourself developing everything, absolutely everything, but not necessarily making the product better. So I think this is important stuff. I will go to the questions. I wanted to do a short session in Hebrew, just like one sentence before we finish. חברים, אני כותב פה, אני לא יודע כמה מכם יודעים, כי לא פרסמנו את זה עדיין, אבל בסוף מרץ, ב-26 למרץ, יש לנו כנס אוטומציות וגיבורי על, עם 5 case studies מאוד מאוד מעניינים על עולם האוטומציה, כנס מאוד מאוד פרקטי של case studies שמדובר על אוטומציה, אנשים טובים, אוכל טוב, בירה טובה, ודברים מאוד מעניינים. אנחנו בטרום המחירה המוקדמת, ואני שם לכם פה לינק למי שבאמת רוצה לבוא וככה להיות חלק מהקהילה, ולחוות את הקהילה שלנו של האוטומציה, ולקבל תוכן איכותי שבאמת לא קיים במקומות אחרים על אוטומציה, ממוקד אוטומציה. שמתי לכם פה לינק לדף, לטרום דף נחיתה, לדף שהרמנו רק בשביל שאנשים כבר שאלו ורצו להתחיל להירשם. יש שם גם מחיר הנחה, כי אנחנו בטרום המחירה המוקדמת של הדף הרשמי בתחילת שבוע הבא, אז בעצם יש שם מחיר אפילו יותר מוזל, אבל כנס מאוד מאוד מגניב שאנחנו ממש מתחילים לקדם אותו, והוא בסוף חודש מרץ. סופר ממליץ לכם לבוא עם נושא האוטומציה, מדברים אליכם, ואם רוצים לשאול אותי שאלות, תרגישו חופשיים בפרטי ופה, באמת בשמחה. Okay, so that was a short thing in Hebrew. I'm actually going over the questions that people have sent to our bot, and I want to take a look at this.
Sure.
People ask about multiple triggers, about converger. People ask some technical questions. Come on, guys, ask the support. It's not for this. One of actually Moti Wiggleman asked a question, right? That is, I think, as automation expert, maybe you also ran into it when you were selling Integrum integration services. What I'm experiencing is sometimes people have a hard time understanding, okay, how much is it going to cost me? For example, when I'm selling a Pipedrive, a CRM, people know that it's this amount per user per month. If I have 5 salespeople, I know what I'm paying. But for platforms like Integrum, it's harder to get the message across of how much am I going to pay, because it really depends on the complexity of what we're building, but also on the amount of traffic. So if it's invoicing, how many invoices am I generating per month? If it's leads, if it's lead gen, then how many leads do I have, how well my campaign works. Do you have a good answer for how to communicate the costs to the end client?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, the pricing of Integrum and all the automation should be set up that it's irrelevant or it's not dependent on the number of operations or how many invoices you issue, because the more operations you consume, yes, you pay more, but the more invoices you issue, it's the same thing. So you save more time because you don't have to issue these invoices. It's a good question, and how to solve it. Most what partners tell me is that usually they start with really a smaller automations for the end customer, and they can estimate how many operations it will consume or how much, which plan do they need for Integrum. if there are like some like bigger plans, then they can just estimate it further according to they calculate daily spend of operations at the beginning of like when they create the scenarios, and they can estimate how much money it would cost. So this is you can estimate it, you can predict it somehow, but it must be and it should be always like good for you. If you have automations, it should be still cheaper to run automations compared to your workforce.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I can say that the thing we do is really emphasize the benefit, not just taking the conversation from the cost column to the value and savings column. So if I have an automation that I predict will cost, like in Integromט fees, $29 per month, and someone is doing it for like 10 hours a month, and we're automating that, it's so easy to prove that we're saving a lot of money. So the question of the cost becomes irrelevant. I mean, I'm not ignoring the questions. I'm taking the discussion into the value and not the savings and not the cost. Another thing that I can say that I try to do, and yes, sometimes it doesn't work 100%, but it's a good strategy. When I prepare the price quotes, I target I prepare them for a higher pricing than I think they'll have at the get-go. For example, if I think that they'll need a $29 Integromט subscription, then I'll write in my quote the $99 subscription. Now, it sounds crazy because what are you doing? You're killing the deal. But first of all, if the client looks at it and says, okay, then I know I'm good to go. And if all goes well, if all goes well and they get a lot of traffic and a lot of operations, then they're relaxed. And I prefer it to the other way. When I said, okay, I'm afraid of telling them the cost, I'll tell them the $9 pricing or the free, and they start paying for it. And then the fault is on me. But I try to prepare my clients, like I said, like you said, think of the savings and the value that you can produce. So if that improves your sales potentially by 5%, how much money is that as opposed to the cost, for example? And also prepare them for a higher tier. That's something I do. So at best, they're surprised. They're surprised on the good side. They're saying, he prepared me for $99. This is actually only costing me $29 for the first 5-6 months. Cool. I'm saving money, and as opposed to what I thought when I agreed to do this project. So this is something I'm doing. Take people out of the cost column and put them into the savings and value column. All right. We're almost done. We have a couple more questions. Are you still good to go for like a couple minutes?
Yeah, I have no problem. At 11 my time, so at 12 o'clock your time. Sorry for this. I have another call with our new partner, so that's just the limit. But till that time, I can answer any questions.
Cool. So guys, if you have any questions, feel free to write. Ben asked is there any unlimited pricing? And I think there is, right? When it doesn't take operations into account with the private hosting?
That's correct. The private hosting, it's unlimited number of operations. Actually, it's not unlimited. It's like it's unlimited from the way that you perceive it, maybe. But actually, there is a set of workers or like chips in the server that can run some number of operations. So we can estimate it around like 30 million up to 60 million operations a month. But actually, it's unlimited because we don't limit it anyhow. But you can have something like 30 up to 60 million operations a month. So I think it should be enough. However, if you need more, it's scalable. So we can just add more workers to this solution, and you can have really unlimited number of operations in this kind of way.
Ben is the automation manager for a large company. I think. Tell me, Ben, just write the approximate number of employees that you have now, but it's a very large tech company in Israel, and I really and knowing that the work that Ben does is really saving tons and tons of manual work. I hope you get to the millions of operations because that means you're saving tons of work and bringing tons of value to the company. 1,200, wow. When we met 6 months ago, you were around 800 people. Now they're 1,200. Wow. So
Nice.
yeah, a lot of automation. So yeah, talk to Thomas about the unlimited workers. A question that came up in the community and also here, Ophir and Nathaniel asked, are you planning to do something like a business manager account where like you have an MCC where you can go from account to account? I think you already have that, right? I can be a member of several accounts, and I'm a member of several client accounts actually, and going through them in the UI, going from
Yes.
one to another.
Right now, there is the ability of like sharing the account. The only thing is that the account must be paid. So you cannot share the free account, but if they can have the basic plan, for example, then the owner of this plan can share the role with you or with anyone. And there are like 4 types of roles: administrator, manager, or I don't know, like all these different roles. And you can then enter their account and edit scenarios and do whatever you need. So actually, there is this kind of opportunity. With the Integromat 2.0, there will be also like a partner's dashboard. So if you're a partner of Integromat and you want to have sub-accounts for your customers, there is this option for you, so you can have everything under your master account, let's call it this way, and have like a different teams, different organizations under your account. That's doable. So maybe that's also the answer for Ophir. She's asking for the option of agency account. So yes, there is this opportunity.
Yeah. So Ophir actually he explained his question better right now in English, in Hebrew. Sorry, and he was writing it exactly as you were explaining about the sub accounts. So that's coming up, Ophir, and really something I think that whenever people manage many clients, really something to look forward. By the way, small tip, till that is possible, and if clients, you have to log into different clients, we're obsessively working with Chrome profiles. So we have a Chrome profile for each client. We set it up one time, and then I can have like different Integromat accounts open in parallel, each one in his own Chrome window, in his own Chrome account. So you can do that until the platform supports that, the sub accounts. You can do that right now with Chrome.
That's also
yeah. Okay, so my last question was if you have tips for companies who want to leverage automation, where to start. And I think you actually answered that at the beginning where you said just find the quick win, right?
That's correct. There is always some like something that the company is facing, some challenge or something that people really hate, and usually it's the best way is to find it somewhere where the results are really like measurable. For example, sales team or creating invoices. So these are like 2 like departments that are really like that you can measure the output of automations very easily, and you can just see the return on investment immediately always.
Great. Yeah. So connect the actual work of automation to what matters to the client. And even if it's as automation guys, we always want to build the complex ones, but sometimes it's a simple automation that saves someone 30 minutes a day of something he hates doing. If it's a simple stuff, it's simple thing, do it. Don't just look for the complex solution for complexity's sake. Connect the automation and the technical and the professional side to the business needs. And when you merge that together, then automation brings value and people will want more and more. Yeah. So I guess we're done. And you're gonna have 10 minutes before your next call to refreshen up a bit. Thomas, I really want to thank you for coming on board. And it took us some time to coordinate this because of busy schedules, but I'm really glad that we got to talk. I'm really glad the community in Israel is very vibrant. And now that we have someone from Switzerland as well, that's nice. That's a good thing. I really want to thank you for coming here and sharing and seeing that this live will always be on Facebook and also down into our blog, so people will have access to it. We're always looking for the next big thing, right? We're always looking for the next improvement, the next way to improve our clients' lives. Whenever you have a community here of very early adopters and guys who are really hardcore into automation. So whenever you want to test something crazy, run an idea by us, feel free. We're really here. We welcome with open arms.
Yeah, thank you, David, for invitation and also for all the questions you asked me. It was really pleasure to just promote Integromat, and I really like the community from Israel because they are really like they do a lot of scenarios, they do a lot of stuff on automation. So you are really like a upfront compared to other nations. So it's amazing. So I just see the stats, all the stats about like all the nations, and Israel is really somewhere else than all the other nations.
I'll tell you something. Israelis are smartasses. So we never take things like this is how things should get done. When someone says this is how you need to do it, then Israelis say, no, I'll find a better way. And gladly enough, automation is that better way. So there's the reason, really, yeah. So like I said, any crazy idea that you guys have, let's hop on a call and we're on board.
As you said, I'm a crazy guy, and I will take the crazy stuff to you when it's done. Okay.
Definitely. Bye, Thomas. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Shalom lekulam. Shi'eh achla yom. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.